As a business owner, you get to pay yourself. You set your own rate of pay. Unfortunately, for most, that's what's left. And that's a huge mistake. And that would indicate little or no planning, and you pay yourself last. And what I want to do in this video is show you a better way to do it. It's time you became a Time Lord. In time management seminars, it's often touted that you should calculate your value per hour. How much is your time worth per hour? And the way you're shown to do that is to divide what you earn per year divided by the number of days and hours you work. So for instance, let's say you're making 100k a year. Divide that by 220 working days and by 8 hours a day. That calculates out to £56 per hour. Brilliant! Challenge is, it doesn't work. It's a bogus calculation because it misses one very important point. And that very important point is there isn't a single person on this planet that achieves 8 productive hours a day. The workday hour is one thing, the productive hour is a totally different thing. And in a survey of top CEOs, it was estimated that in general they were lucky if they were productive for 3/4 of an hour a day. Let that sink in. 3/4 of an hour per day. These are top CEOs. But just like you and me, they get dragged into lots of stuff that just isn't productive. And if you were to look at your work week and be really forensic about it and ask yourself, where are my really productive hours? When am I really on it? And what you'll find, if you're lucky, is probably less than a third of your week is truly productive. And that means the £56 we calculated earlier needs to be multiplied by 3. And now it's £168 per hour. So if 100k is what you're after, a great question you need to be constantly asking yourself is what I'm doing now worth £168 per hour? Just imagine that 12-minute phone call you just had. Was it really worth 68 quid? Or that overlong meeting that left you wondering why was I there in the first place? Was that worth 132 quid? Can you see how beneficial it would be to think from this paradigm, to start thinking in terms of time investment? Consider the time you spend travelling to and from jobs, the extra minutes to finish that cup of tea in meetings, the time spent on smaller talk. You may want to rethink all this when you consider that it's charged back to you at a rate of £168 per hour. To overcome this, the first thing you need to do is decide, yes, decide, what you're aiming to take as a salary. And make sure you include in that figure all your perks, your medical insurance, your pension contributions and etc. Now if you haven't got that figure, how the heck can you work out what your hourly rate should be? And that means you won't be able to make good decisions about how you invest your time. You'll wander around from task to task and settle for whatever you can get. Having a number, even if it isn't perfectly calculated, is better than having no number. So get yourself a number. Divide that number by the working days, normally about 220 a year. Multiply that by working hours, normally let's say 8. And then multiply that number by the amount of productive hours you do. Or if you're not sure what that is, for ease of calculation, just multiply it by 3. What you now have is a number that could change your life. Because a lot of your decision making gets a whole lot easier with this number staring you in the face. So plaster it everywhere. Put it on post-it notes. Have it as a screensaver. Make sure it's plastered in your schedule, in your diary, and make sure the people around you know all about it, especially your time vampires. You know who they are. Have you got a minute, boss? It only works, so give it a go. You'll thank me later.